Nnenna, Elendu, Ukeje, member representing Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Abia State. And as the title of the book says, I am involved because, of course, I am from Abia State. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, in listening and in supporting the motion, let me say that what we see today are the results of proliferation of small arms and light weapons and insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Gulf of Guinea, of course, stretches to Cross River and Calabar. And Calabar is a 1-hour drive away from Aba. That's where the arms come from. So that entire region, Mr. Speaker, sir, the South-South, Aba, Calabar, is totally enmeshed with small light weapons and small arms. And of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, these arms are used to perpetuate all these crimes, from kidnapping to drug running, and so on and so forth. And so, Mr. Speaker, as we speak to these issues about the military, the police, and I'm very glad to say that in the face of this, in an engagement with the police, they have set up, or they're in the process of setting up something called a transit camp on the expressway in Aba to deal with kidnapping with a mobile police unit that would have about 60 men. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, while that in itself is commendable, it is tokenism. Because if we do not deal with where these arms come from, the Gulf of Guinea, if we do not deal with the displaced people in Bakassi, if we do not deal with the restiveness and the arming of the people, all the people who have come from the Horn of Africa and are now carrying out piracy and gun running in that area, Mr. Speaker, sir, we will always have this conversation. And so, of course, while we talk about community policing and strengthening the armed forces and the police going there, Mr. Speaker, I think it is also of utmost import that we bring to international recognition the fact that the hinterlands are getting more and more insecure because the rest of the world is not taking the notice that they should of the Gulf of Guinea. And so, Mr. Speaker, sir, in decrying this and in decrying the symptoms of this larger crime of international dimensions, I would ask that my dear colleagues continue to encourage the Nigerian police, and indeed, as I said earlier on, they have taken a step. But also the question becomes, what happened to the Nigerian armed forces? And I know that the Nigerian army is stretched with the war in the Niger Delta, with the war in the northeast. But this is also security of our homeland, the territorial integrity of our homeland. And I think that they should also keep an eye on what happens at the Gulf of Guinea, as well as the environs that surround that area. So I'd like to ask that my colleagues please support this motion. The lives of the people of Aba, and indeed the people of Abia, is at risk, but also the economy and the diversification dream of our country is also at risk. So I'd like to ask that my colleagues please support this motion and give it the full weight, as Honorable Osai would say, in hoping that this passes through. Thank you very much.